everyone, Horror Mystery Rewind here. Today we will talk about the movie Host, which was released in 2020. The entire movie was shoot during COVID pandemic in Zoom meeting. Please click on the closed caption button for subtitles. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy and take care of yourself. On July 30th, 2020, while the United States is in a state of lockdown over the COVID-19 pandemic, a girl named Haley decides to call her friends Gemma, Emma, Carolyn, Radina and Teddy in the weekly Zoom call to stay in touch. While waiting for her friends to connect, Haley puts on a sweatshirt. At one point she hears a strange banging noise in her apartment. Haley picks up her laptop and rotates it to show what is in front of her. She looks around her apartment in the hallway and the closet. Door suddenly opens, dropping some objects. She then goes to her living room window and pulls up the curtain, discovering her friend Gemma, who is throwing rocks at Haley's window. Gemma points to the phone in her hand, which means Haley should let her in on the call. The two girls discuss the seance they are about to have, for which Haley has hired a medium. They are both nervous as it is the first time Gemma is doing it. While they wait for the other girls, Gemma sets out to write an email. Soon after Emma joins, she says she is nervous about the seance. Next, they are joined by Radina, who starts coughing, and the other girls tease her. We also see her boyfriend Alan behind her. Then Caroline, who lives with her father, also joins. The old man seems funny, and the girls burst out laughing. Caroline says that her father always leaves the house, and she has to follow him to bring him home. Alan is cooking and the noise bothers Radina, so she turns off the microphone to prevent her friends from hearing their conversation and talks to him. The girls say they should not have decided to live together during quarantine. Radina returns and says that Alan has gone to the bedroom and will not bother them again. Then Emma starts playing with masks that are supposed to be scary. Haley reveals that a friend of theirs, Teddy, will participate in the call and join soon. They start talking about his Instagram page and his girlfriend. At that moment Teddy joins the call. The man stands outside in front of the pool with his girlfriend but returns to the house to get a better internet connection. Teddy gives a little tour of the house and says he lives with his girlfriend and parents. Teddy opens an old creepy-looking musical jewelry box and blows smoke around it to create an eerie atmosphere. Then Teddy tells how his brother used to scare him as a kid with this object. Haley tells everyone that she is about to bring in Salem the medium and adds that they must be respectful during the seance. To lighten the mood, Teddy suggests they take a shot every time the medium says astral. Haley suggests that they be careful not to be seen drinking so as not to upset the medium before Salem joins in. Teddy, Radina, Carolyn, Gemma and Emma have a drink while Haley takes a Polaroid picture of her laptop screen. Moments later Salem enters and greets the friends. She explains the procedure to them and says they must have an object nearby connected to the deceased person they want to communicate with. Gemma says she wants to communicate with her Chinese grandparents but does not speak Chinese. Nevertheless, Salem says that there are no languages in the astral and surely they will somehow understand each other. As they had planned before, every time Salem says the word astral, Teddy, Radina and Emma take a shot. The medium then tells everyone to light the candle everyone has in front of them and explains that the candle will act as a guiding light and fire for the nearby spirits. She explains that each spirit might communicate with them in a different way. It could be a feeling, a noise, a touch and so on. Before they begin the process, Teddy makes her say the word astral one more time and they take another shot. Salem says that since they are doing this on a Zoom call they are less protected, so they have to respect the spirits. Salem then explains what they should do in case they are nervous and scared. They have to imagine that they have a rope around their waist that connects them to the astral. The moment they want to break the connection they have to imagine that they cut it with a knife or scissors. Salem plays an attunement and says to imagine that they are in a circle. Suddenly Teddy's girlfriend comes in and interrupts him and laughs at this session. Then the girl blows out the candle and leaves the call saying Teddy must go. Salen says to concentrate and imagine themselves standing in a circle again. She then says to call the spirit out loud. Salen tells Radina that she noticed a light behind her moving, then they hear a knocking sound. Salen tells the spirit to make the same sound again if they hear them the knocking, and the girls are startled, but then it turns out that it is the courier who brought a package for Salen. Salen returns and says to continue the seance. During the seance, one of the members, Gemma, claims to feel intense tension around her neck. Overcome with fear, she says that somebody called Jack is with her, a friend who committed suicide in her school by hanging himself. Salen's internet cuts out, disconnecting her from the chat. During this time, Gemma informs the group that she made Jack up because the silence was getting awkward, which angers Haley. The remaining members of the group begin to experience strange, terrifying phenomena. Haley's chair is pulled by an unseen force, Carolyn sees a hanging corpse in her attic, and Emma's glass spontaneously breaks. As the girls panic, Haley manages to get back in touch with Salen and informs her of everything that has happened. A spirit is indeed with them, but it isn't friendly. Salen believes and explains that Gemma's prank may have allowed a spirit or demon access to our world, entering the circle during the seance. Salen also informs the girls that the demonic spirit could be a tulpa which has taken on the guise of Jack and Gemma's made-up story, and begins to give them instruction on how to close the seance. The spirit interrupts this by causing more phenomena, and Salen's disconnects again before the girls attempt to close the circle using her advice. Believing the ordeal to be over, the members of the group begin to leave the Zoom call. Radina gets up and leaves the room unaware of her boyfriend Alan's body hanging behind her. Carolyn's artificial background is interrupted as her face is smashed into the camera, causing her laptop to fall. Emma's camera shows one of her filters on an invisible figure in the living room, which turns to face her. She then scatters flour on the floor, showing the footprints of the spirit coming towards her and causing her kitchen cupboards to burst open before the spirit attacks her, causing her to hide in her room. Radina attempts to flee her home after her boyfriend Alan's body drops in front of her, but she is pulled away from the door and killed by the spirit. Carolyn is killed as she pleads for help when the demon repeatedly smashes her face onto the desk. Haley and Gemma argue, blaming each other for what has occurred, when Haley is pulled off screen and attacked. Shocked, Gemma, who lives around the corner from Haley, immediately leaves her home to try and help her. Teddy then returns to the call, as 10 minutes remain until the Zoom meeting ends. Unaware of everything that has occurred, the spirit, in the form of a horrifying figure, attacks him. Chased through his house, a panicked Teddy witnesses Ginny being murdered by an unseen force before he himself is knocked down, set on fire and killed. Emma, now the only person still active in the call, fearfully turns her camera to the doorway of her room after her door suddenly opens. She throws a blanket, which lands on the invisible spirit, showing its outline. Terrified, Emma opens her window to flee but accidentally falls to her death. Gemma arrives at Haley's home and finds, via the open Zoom call on Haley's laptop, that both Emma and Teddy are dead. The invisible spirit throws a bottle at her head while the cupboards burst open. She manages to find Haley hiding under her desk, and the pair attempt to escape the house using the flash of Haley's Polaroid camera to light the way. The invisible spirit suddenly appears in the flash of light, and it rushes at them as the Zoom call timer immediately expires.